Hi, today we're going to briefly look at Module 4, Lesson 14, and spend the full period on Module 4, Lesson 15. Lesson 14 is exactly like Lesson 13, and I don't really want to spend an entire period on it. I don't think it's necessary. So to save some time, let's just do the first page of Lesson 14, and then for your homework tonight, you're going to do the problem set for Lesson 14, and you can do it right on the problem set paper. Okay? Let's take a look at this chart. On Friday, when we did Lesson 13, we looked at different ways to write the same division expression. So here, they're giving us 15 divided by 3. Well, if we wanted to write it as a fraction, it would be 15 as your numerator, 13 as your denominator. If you're going to write it in the house, 15 is your dividend, 5 is your divisor. And if we wanted to write it as, 3, I'm sorry. I'm not allowed to just make up numbers. I have to use the real numbers. Or the quotient of 15 and 3, if we wanted to write it in words. There. That's Lesson 14. So to summarize, let's go ahead and just use the words dividend and divisor. So we know that our dividend goes inside on the end. The divisor goes outside. So when you're outside, it's hot and sunny, you need to wear a visor. Your dividend is your numerator. Your divisor is your denominator. This is exactly what we wrote in our notes on Friday. Dividend divided by the divisor. And in words, the quotient of the dividend and the divisor. So for your homework tonight for problem set 14, this is exactly what you're going to do. There are 4 graphic organizers like this. They give you one of the squares, and you need to fill in the other 3 squares with equivalent expressions.
Can you do it on the page?
I already said you can do it right on the page. Yep, exactly. Are there any questions on this? Yes. One of them is already filled in. Oh, you're not going to do the notes. You're going to do the problem set. You're going to turn the page to the problem set. Okay. So now let's take a look at Lesson 15, which is what I really want to focus on today. So you already started working on your opening set. Lesson 15 is reading expressions in which letters stand for numbers. Okay? We're going to express operations in algebraic form. So let's take a look at exactly what that means. You started working on this graphic organizer to go over some mathematical words. So for example, addition. If you saw the word sum, you would know that that implies that you need to add. What are some other words that would indicate that it's an addition problem? Add, absolutely. Add, what else? Total of, what else? Addend is one of the words. Yep. So let's add these words onto your chart if you don't have them already. So add, more than, total, altogether, in all, increased by, plus. If you saw any of those words, you would know the operation you need to do is to add. Okay? And to subtract. So difference would indicate we need to subtract. Some other words, subtract, fewer than, minus, less than, how many more, left, or decreased by. Product, if you saw the word product, multiply, times, every, double, triple, of. We've been saying of over and over again. And as much. Those would all indicate that you need to multiply. For division, quotient, divide, each, per, split are some examples of words. If you saw them, would indicate that you need to divide. And for exponents, power, squared, cubed. And this is a chart you want to keep referring back to in today's lesson and for tonight's homework. These are vocabulary words that are going to help you. Okay, let's continue using these terms to translate an algebraic expression into words. So how would you read choice A? Letter A, number A, the first one. How would you say that? Yeah, A minus B. What's another way that we could say it?
A subtracted by B.
We really wouldn't say subtracted by, but you could. Yep.
B less than A.
Yep, B less than A.
The difference of A and B.
The difference of A and B. Very good. So you can go ahead and add these onto your paper. Trying to get this, there we go, a little bit bigger. Okay, A minus B, the difference of A and B. A decreased by B. B subtracted from A. Okay. A little bit bigger, a little easier to see. All right, what about B? How would you say that using words? X times Y. The product of X and Y. Yep. See? Yep. Okay, and what about C? What could we say for C? 4 times F plus U. What else? Trying to give everybody a turn here. What else could we say? The sum of 4 times F and U. Right, the product of 4 and F increased by U. To get some more math words in there. Okay, let's copy these into your notes. Okay, let's try D. What would that be? How can we translate that into words? Sure, D minus B cubed. What else? Sure, the difference of D and B cubed. What about D decreased by? Let's add D decreased by B cubed. Don't forget we could say to the third power as a choice also the difference of D and the quantity B to the third power. They like to throw words in here. One thing I noticed about Common Core, they must get paid by the word. Yeah, that's it. Paid by the word. And E. Let's come up with some choices for E, and then I'll give you a chance to finish copying your notes. That one's a little tougher. What would we have to do first there for E? What would we have to do first? What would we have to do?
You would have to
So we would have to start with the difference of U and 10, and then what we would do with that? Well, not 5 plus, 5 times the difference of U minus 10 added to H, or the difference of U and 10 multiplied by 5 added to H. There's lots of different possibilities. Okay, here are two more. H, add H to the product of 5 and the difference of U and 10. 5 times the quantity of U minus 10 added to H. There are tons of combinations of possibilities. Okay, let's try the next page. We have a fraction. We know that the fraction bar means division. This is what we worked on Friday. So how could we say that? Beautiful. 3 divided by the sum of D and F. What else? What else could we come up with? What's that Q word for division? No. Quotient. So what about the quotient of 3 and D plus F? Find the quotient of 3 and the sum of D and F. 3 divided by the quantity D plus F. We've got sum, plus, divided, quotient. Those are some words that we can use to write that. But suppose somebody wrote 3 divided by D plus F. Why would that be wrong? Why would that be wrong? Why would that be wrong? Why is 3 divided by D plus F not a correct answer? What would that mean?
That would mean that you're dividing 3 by D.
That would mean 3 divided by D. So that would be 3 divided by D plus F. Or 3 divided by D plus F. We would be doing the division first, and then we're only dividing by D. But we want to divide by the sum of that.
Let's also be that if you're doing how we divide it on the second, we divide it as 3 parts D plus F.
You could write it as, this could be written as 3 divided by D plus F. That means the same thing. You could write it that way as well. Okay? So this would mean something different if we said 3 divided by D. You have to be careful where everything falls next to each other. Okay? So a little simpler, the next 4 exercises. Go ahead and work on this now. Circle all the vocabulary words that could be used to describe the given expression. So we have 6h minus 10. What operations do we see there? Yep, there's subtraction and multiplication. What about 5d over 6? I'll say it that way. Product and quotient. What about number 3? What operations do we see in number 3? I think it would be easier to say what operations we don't see in this one. But what do we see in this one? What operations are there? Yup.
And
Yup. What do those parentheses mean? Very good, absolutely. ABC. Good song, ABC. Good song. Yeah, I won't sing, don't worry. Just times. Multiplication, product. Yep. Okay, right now, try these on your own, and then we'll go over them. Try 5, 6, and 7 on your own. All right, let's see with some suggestions. 8 minus the product of 2 and g. 2 times g subtracted from 8. 8 decreased by g doubled. And we can mix and match some of these to come up with different combinations. There are so many different combinations of how you could write that. Does anybody want to share one of theirs?
I said the product of 2 and g minus 8.
Well, no, be careful. What would that be? The product of 2 and g minus 8. Addition is not commutative. That means something different. So that would not be correct. But minus 8, the product of 2 and g minus 8 is different than that. That's 8 minus the product of 2 and g. You could say the product of 2 and g less than 8. Then the 8 would come first, and that would be okay. Well, you had written down means something different, so make sure you fix that. I'm glad you asked. Nope, 8 less than 2 minus g, 2g, and then 8 less than that would mean that. You would have to say 2g less than 8. 2g less than 8. So be careful with the subtraction ones. 2 times g less than 8 would be the correct way to write it if you were going to say less than. All right, for number 6, we have a couple possibilities. 15 times the quantity of A increased by C, or A plus C, the sum of A and C, the product of 15 and the sum of A and C, 15 multiplied by the total of A and C. And I definitely would suggest copying these down now so that you have many different choices. And for 7, the sum of m and n divided by 5, the quotient of the total of m and n, m plus n split into 5 equal groups. On your homework tonight, I want you to try to come up with at least 2 expressions for each of the examples on the problem set, okay? So hopefully you're copying these down and you could use these as a reference when you're doing your homework tonight and just replace these numbers and letters with the numbers and letters on the problem set.
First one for 7, could that be read as m, and then n divided by 5, so like m.
Well, you would have to say the sum, because if you just said m and n divided by 5, you have to be careful. So they're not reading it as n divided by 5.
No, but, so it can be read as the sum of m and n divided by 5. Instead of,
Well, the sum of m and n, so you want the sum of those divided by 5. Okay, the sum of blank and blank. You need 2 numbers to have the sum. Okay, so the sum of those 2 and then divided by 5. All right? Try the next 3. Okay, let's go over 8, b cubed minus 18, b to the 3rd power decreased by 18. What about 18 subtracted from b cubed? 18 less than b cubed.
I put the difference of b cubed and b.
Yep, the difference of b cubed and 18. For number 9, f minus the quotient of d and 2. D split into 2 groups, then subtracted from f. D divided by 2 less than f. Remember, with that less than and subtracted from, you have to be very careful of the order. And for number 10, u divided by x, the quotient of u and x, and u divided into x parts. I think that was probably the easiest one that you had. Okay, so tonight when you're working on your homework, make sure that you have more than one example for each one and you use that vocabulary chart to help you.